Welcome to the Call Her Sam podcast. I'm your host. My name is Sam. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit us up in the comments as well. We drop new episodes every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. So wherever you are, make sure you subscribe. Let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, Revive Cafe, for providing us with these delicious drinks you see before us. Talking today's topic, we are discussing men and mental health. While there isn't a different sort of male depression, some symptoms are more common in men than women. These include irritability, sudden anger, increased loss of control, risk-taking, and aggression. Men may also be more likely to use alcohol and drugs to cope with their depression rather than talking about it. I'm sure you have certain men in your life that would not discuss their feelings, are not open to even talking about how they're feeling, or just not open to being vulnerable. So today I'm joined by two men. I'm sure you recognize one of them. He's of the beer gang, Musenge, Bwalya. And today we have a new member,
Zaanga. Yes, thanks. Don't worry about it.
Zanji. Oopsie! It's okay, people get my name wrong all the time. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
How's Thursday? Hot? Is it burning you already?
Yes, it is. I was hoping there'd be more rain.
Oh no, that was yesterday.
It's humid. It's humid. It's not a...
Rain's not happening anymore.
It's not
a good feeling.
It's not happening.
Suffering.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Men and mental health. I know a lot of men are not open to speaking about mental health. You hear a lot of, today's generation is incredibly soft.
Yeah.
Why they want to talk about their feelings? You want to sit down in a circle, huddle, and be like, "Oh, I'm feeling like this." Yes, but I don't agree with that, because men are also human beings. They're human.
Yep.
Made of flesh and blood, like us.
Yep.
So therefore, you are entitled to your feelings. You are entitled to feel weak, to feel sad. You want to cry. By the way, when was the last time you guys cried?
My aunt's funeral last year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm putting you on the spot.
Putting me on the spot, eh? I don't know. I think early this year. Yeah.
I mean early this year. We're still in early this year.
Oh, are we?
Was this yesterday?
Hey, look. I'm very much in touch with my feelings.
Oh.
Yes, I'm very much in touch with my feelings, and I don't think I hide that. Okay. I don't think I hide that. I'm quite emotional.
Okay.
Yes, I'm quite emotional on either end. If I'm happy, I'm very happy. If I'm sad, I'm very sad, and you can tell. Yeah.
Okay.
So I won't cry in public, but I'll cry somewhere in the bathroom.
In the shadows.
Yeah, in the shadows.
With the lights off.
Yeah. When the lights go on, I'm like, I have something in my eye.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm not
So
crying,
no
you
crying
are
in front
crying.
of friends, no crying in front of your spouses.
Oh, no. Hell no. No ways.
Why not?
Then they'll see you as weak.
But you're human.
Exactly. Both things are true. That's just, it's how I've grown up. It's how culture has raised us, how our villages have raised us. A man doesn't show emotion.
But that's detrimental to anyone. Because you bottle things up, you keep it bottled, and it piles and piles and piles.
Yeah.
And then it comes out and you're like, what?
And I've had my fair share of breakdowns because of that, like what you're saying, where a lot of the time you don't even see it coming, but you brush so many things aside along the way. It would take this one straw, let's say a straw on whatever,
That
to trigger you. Yeah.
it just triggers you, and all of a sudden you're breaking down about things from 2 years ago, from 10 years ago, and you're just either offloading on people or on situations. You're making bad decisions
Or on yourself.
You start drinking or whatever negative coping mechanism you can come up with, you're on it. Yeah.
So do you think there's so much pressure for, I want to say, black men from society to be a certain way and not express emotion?
Absolutely. And I think I'm also trying to get away from the notion of it being about black men. I think I'd like to say all men.
All men, yes.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
think-
fair, yes.
Yeah, it's fair to say most men go through similar pressure. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like as we spoke earlier, I feel like men still need to get into this space where they should be able to express themselves. They should be able to open up or find somebody that they can open up to. And I think all men do go through certain pressures that they do need to find a good outlet, a proper outlet. Yeah.
So speaking of finding someone to speak to, there's a lot of I don't want to say stigma, but there's a lot of stories around saying black men don't feel safe talking to healthcare practitioners, even the therapists.
Why should I tell a stranger my business?
But but this is not a stranger. Okay, it is a stranger, but this is a professional.
Yeah.
A professional who will definitely keep your stuff confidential.
Right.
But would you rather speak to a professional or would you rather speak to a friend?
I think
Because
for
you
me,
guys were telling me you wouldn't even open up to each other.
Yeah.
You would skim the surface.
Yeah. We'll pick out the things that
you
think on a need-to-know
Filter.
basis. Yeah.
Why?
It's so like we talked about. It's hard for us to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is weakness. That's how we were raised. That's how my dad, my uncles. That's how they were. We never saw them vulnerable, right? So even if I'm sharing with Zaanga about something I'm going through, more often than not, I'll just share the problem and not what's going on in here, how it affects me. I'll give him a problem and I'll probably expect a solution. From him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the whole, would I prefer a therapist or a friend? I think because of that, I would do both.
Okay.
And with one, I would offload certain things, and with another, I would offload certain things, and it would probably be more of a mix and match and say, okay. Because with friends, on some level, they can understand you better,
Okay.
but you also don't want to show them that vulnerable side of you as well.
Why? Don't say, oh, that's how we're wired. This is the culture, the way we're raised. You personally,
uncomfortable. I
from
don't
you
want
guys
to.
personally, why? He's laughing.
I'm telling you,
It's uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. I don't want to.
I don't know. I think I alluded to it earlier. I feel like everyone should find men should find somebody that they are comfortable with. For me personally, that would be my brother, my immediate elder brother. Okay. So I wear my heart on my sleeve, especially around him. I would tell him anything.
Everything, yeah.
I would tell him almost everything. I would tell him I'm going through this and this is what happened. And I feel like when men are sharing, their issues or their problems or whatever it is that they're going through, I think I had mentioned earlier that people should see it not as a men problem, but as a societal problem. It should be everyone's problem to try and find a solution.
Yes.
So I feel like the response matters. How this person that I am opening up to responds to my issue.
Okay.
So I just feel like my brother knows all the right things to say. You know what I mean? He would side with me. Maybe even in a situation where
you were wrong.
I was wrong. He would side with me, but then still keep me in check. It's like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but do you realize that if you did it this way, it wouldn't have turned out like this, So I find myself being comfortable around him and being able to open up to him.
He sounds like a wise man.
Good
He's
relationship.
a very wise man.
Shout out to
Ngwila. Ngwila.
Ngwila, shout out. Very, very wise. Wow.
He's a very wise
Because
man.
you get those situations where someone just like, T'as pas il faut fier, fine. You want it wrong. Just keep doing
Yeah,
your
just
thing.
true. Yeah, no, but he would always keep me in check, and I feel like that when you create a relationship with somebody like that, I feel like they become your outlet.
Yeah.
They become your outlet, and I think it helps. It makes things a whole lot better. It makes things a whole lot better.
So now, what barriers prevent men from seeking mental health assistance? Is it the
So many. I mean, it depends on the area, but a lot of the time, it's the whole thing of being strong, being the man. So in a relationship, you don't want to show vulnerability because you see
in
yourself
a relationship?
That's from a relationship angle. If you're in a relationship or a marriage, whatever, you're supposed to be the man, right? Right? You're supposed to be the protector, the provider, stone wall. You're the first line of defense, right? So you don't show vulnerability.
But I would expect a little not a little. I would expect some vulnerability from my person because you can't always just be
100%.
so can just be
100%. No, and I agree with you. It's
Yeah.
just like you said, it's a barrier. It's not necessarily one we can get through, but it's a barrier. That's usually our starting point.
So would you be vulnerable with your person?
I would be, but I think naturally I tend to sort of have a slow build up to it.
Okay.
Where in the beginning I have a lot more firewalls up. I don't let my weaknesses show. But with time I because naturally, even if you are a stonewall guy, you have a need for intimacy, to share. Like the need is there. We feel it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just because we're saying we're this and we're that doesn't mean we don't feel that.
Oh,
need.
absolutely.
We have that need to share intimacy, and I think even Trevor said it on the Daily Show that's why a lot of men seek out sex. Meanwhile, they're craving intimacy, but they can only really get, or in their minds, they can only get intimacy in a sexual environment. Some of them actually just want to be held. There's
So if you wanted to be held, would you say, "Listen, I just want you to hold me today"?
I don't know if those words could come out to my significant other, right?
Yes. That's what I mean.
Yes. I thought you meant
Yeah, I
like
just
to a
need a
friend
hug.
because
No,
because with you guys like girls have that.
Yeah.
You have that environment where you can say to another girl, "I'm going through this. Just
just
hold
wanna
me,
hug."
whatever." Just
Almost
someone
every other day, yeah.
We don't have that. You can't just say. I can't just say to Zaanga, "Dude, just hold me, man."
I know.
Even when you say to "I love you," it's like "I love you, bro."
Yeah.
Hey, love you, dude.
Yeah, like you have to
it's
add something to it.
No homo. We don't have that environment where
We
we don't have that environment where we can just be intimate or share like that. So for us, that's why we find ourselves seeking it in different places. But and that's because we have the need to, like you said, we're human.
Yeah.
To share intimate feelings, to be heard, to be seen, and all that. But it's hard for us to just say it.
Just bring it out.
Just bring it out.
So you both don't have kids yet.
Yeah.
So when you have your sons, what are you going to do different from what was done with you?
So many things.
Such
A lot.
as
So
A lot.
many things.
Growing up is, I'll judge your brain a little. How did you feel when, maybe after school, after tests,
Yeah.
and you got beaten by a girl?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? You got beaten by a girl. That's the thing.
Why is it an issue?
A girl can be better than
So
you.
wait, so you would be told a girl can be better than you?
Yeah. Why is that girl better than you? Especially at math.
She's a girl.
Why is it? The girl beat you at math.
How?
Oh, why? No. A man has to know
That's
math.
true.
A man
That's
has
true.
to be sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man has to be sharp. You can't be beaten by a girl. Be beaten by the other guys. But we have the number system. If you're going, if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or out of 10,
Yeah.
the other 9 have to be. If you're number 10 in class, the other 9 have to be male.
Yeah.
Why is there a female
Why is
in
there
the
a female?
picture?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
Which was very bad because
I've never thought about it.
You never thought about it?
So bad.
But I feel like it shouldn't be the case.
really
because
Wow.
you know, we're human, and I feel like our mental strengths are different. Our intellectual
Yes.
strengths are different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what if a girl beats me at math? She's good at it.
She's
so
good
what
at
if
it.
she? Yes.
Yeah.
She's, she studied for it. Maybe I didn't study for it. Oh, she's just good at it. And I feel like those are some of the things that I am going to change. In my son, even in my daughter. I feel like women should equally be brought into this equation. Things like a female shouldn't be better than you at math. No. Why can't I just tell you to work hard?
Yeah.
Just
Let's
work
all-
hard.
let's all work hard.
Let's all work hard. Okay, she beat you. Okay, that's fine.
That's crazy.
I know.
You actually push against.
And
Yeah.
and it
That's the
happens.
first time I'm hearing about
Yeah,
this.
no, it's a thing.
And you see, the crazy thing is, you as parents sometimes may not see it because some of these things or some of these comments are passed maybe in school. Or the child is alone somewhere in school and maybe his friends would laugh at him.
Yeah.
This girl beat you.
girl beat you.
You know what I mean? And maybe the child won't even come home and tell you.
Tell you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so slowly this
Building
child is
that.
the brain is being wired to say a girl can't be better than you. A girl can't be better than you.
Is that why some men feel intimidated when
Absolutely.
their partner or a woman doing better?
Is doing better than them. Oh yes, 100%.
Makes more money than
Makes
you.
more money than
What?
No. Hell no.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
That's exactly where it stems from.
So coming to financials, would you feel intimidated by your partner making more money than you?
Yeah.
Because I know you meant
Oh, yeah, okay.
these little passive aggressions of like, oh, so I have one more than that. Oh, so she's the one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think there's it's different for different men, but it's the same thing. Like we all feel it. Some men will be like outrightly angered about it.
Yes.
Some guys will just take it and it will be building. Like we're talking about keeping things bottled up.
That's how they just
And
Yeah, like
we're talking about
silent.
pressures. That's one of the pressures that a man has. Like, okay, I need to make money. Like, I need to make more money than her. Otherwise,
risk-taking,
that's the mistake. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not fulfilling my duties as a man.
As a man.
A man should be successful. Should be more successful. He should be, the leader, the protector, the provider. Right?
He should be number one.
Should be number one. So if she's making more money than me, who am I? And I think a lot of
you.
these mental health issues come from an identity point of view where if I don't get to express myself or live my life out as what I think is a man, I lose my identity of who I am as a man, and I start falling away. I start breaking down because now I've lost my identity, because our identity is so rooted in a man must be this, must be that, must be that. Once I am not those things, I start to crash. So the financials, she's higher than me or has a better position than me at the company or whatever. I start losing my identity as a man. I start, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Who am I? Right?
Which unfortunately is the case, but shouldn't be the case.
Shouldn't.
That's crazy that you're saying that, because there was a movie that came out on Netflix. I don't remember what it was. The girl started to advance in her career and he wasn't really picked for promotion. Then he started to spiral out and say, "Oh, who did you have to sleep with to get that promotion? Oh, who did?" And she's just like,
Bro,
I
like
still
I
have
worked
you,
hard.
like,
I still,
But I'm still here. We're supporting each other, and he couldn't get past the fact that she was advancing and he wasn't.
Yeah.
It's something that needs to be. It's a huge
it's
topic.
okay.
It's something. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's
It needs
okay.
to be addressed. Yes,
Yeah.
it needs to be addressed. But it's okay, especially like this is your person, and like you said in the movie, she was like, I haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here.
still here.
Yeah.
Still-
I'm still here. And the money that I make, you still benefit from, and I feel like it's okay.
It is
It should be okay.
It should be okay.
It should be okay.
And here's the thing, we know this and we recognize that it's wrong. But there will still be that thing in us that we sort of try to fight.
Oh, absolutely.
And we talked about it earlier, that I think this really needs to start from the next generation as early as possible, so that they don't have this thing where even if you know it psychologically, mentally, it shouldn't be the case. There'll still be that thing like, how is she making more money than you?
You know?
How would I do better? But I know it's not a big deal. I know it. I can say.
She's the one who's paying the rent.
She took me on a trip. What? Valentine's, she took me out.
She bought me flowers.
She bought me flowers.
But what's wrong with
There's
that?
nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But it's in there. It's in there, and it's constantly fighting us in different directions from different areas. And the sad fact is, even now, grown up, we still get these pressures. It may not be in the relationship, because we've said the girl might be saying, I still love you, I'm still here, I'm still that. She might still, from a biblical context, be the submissive one, right? But there'll be pressures from maybe the family around you, maybe our friends, maybe social media. There's stuff on social media that can put you in such a box that if you are not fitting that mold, you feel like, I'm not doing enough as a man.
I'm not doing,
I'm not doing.
Am I even a man?
Am I even a man? What? He bought her that many flowers and took her to Dubai and this and this and this.
And gave her money
and
gave her money.
rolled up allowance, this and this and this. I'm like, who am I? I'm not a man. Spiral. And so a lot of the pressures actually come from outside, and that's where it's hard to deal with pressures coming from outside, because these are not people that you have that channel where you can say, dude, come on, respect this. In a relationship you can, but if your uncle from wherever is telling you, look after your madam, she can't be making more money than you go within yourself as a man, and you start now, you don't tell her it, by the way, you start now working it out, fighting yourself, now you start planning, how can I make extra money? That's how you start getting yourself in shady deals.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a deal.
That's how we start now. This doesn't work out. I don't tell you. I go behind the back, and next thing you know, this guy is stealing money from here and there, just because in his head or in my head, I know I must be the man and I must provide.
I have to keep up.
To the men watching this, I just want you to know that you're enough as well. You are enough.
Absolutely.
But bring us back to how, what examples of love did you guys see growing up in your kids, in your homes? Because we were talking about this behind the scenes, saying a lot of moms or families are offloading a lot of broken men onto
society,
onto women.
Onto women,
And they're like, you deal with this now, that's your problem. So what kind of, don't you think it starts from the home? Because you see the things that you see from home now, you take it. So what examples of love did you see?
So, hey, honestly, from a personal...
You need to start asking those questions, ladies, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like know your person. Know your person.
Third date questions. Don't ask on the first date.
Those are not first date questions. Those are third date questions.
I'm kidding.
I'll ask on the first date.
Cut your losses early.
Like, before I emotionally get invested.
Did your parents love you?
Did your parents love you?
Did you get enough hugs?
Did you get enough hugs? Yeah. No, I got the best of upbringings. I 13 points.
Okay.
I saw my dad love my mom. I saw my mom love my dad, and it was just, and that's how I'm built. I'm built to love. I have a lot of love to give, you know.
Ladies, he's taken.
Yeah.
Taken.
Perhaps I should start this game. So, please.
That's good though. I mean, it's rare in our context.
True. It's very rare, especially to, you know, maybe find. I think maybe in an African context in general, you know, you won't find, you know, parents telling their kids, "Oh, I love you."
No, you will not.
You know.
Yeah.
They'll do it maybe, you know, with certain gestures,
Yeah.
you know, they'll bring you things.
show it.
Yeah.
They'll show it, you know, with something tangible,
Yes.
perhaps, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
and then maybe they won't say it out loud.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I never. My dad never told me, or my mom never told me as often as maybe I would have loved to, you know, that they
That I
love
love
me.
You,
You know,
yeah.
they did, you know, and I
not
saw
as-
it, you know,
Yeah.
but not as, you know, as much as, you know, parents should probably tell their kids, you know. You know, it's like, you know, tell your kids you love them. Tell them, you know.
I think I'm
you
always
appreciate
telling
them.
mine I love
Yeah.
you too much because he goes, I'm like, I love you. And he's quiet. I'm like, hey! He's
I
like,
said I love you.
mommy. I'm like,
Yeah, and before you know it, I feel like you're building something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're building something in him, and he's going to realize, you know what, this is actually a good thing.
okay.
Yes, it's okay to
okay.
tell somebody that I love them.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels good. It feels good. It does a lot for your mentor. It does a lot to your mentor. You know, and like I think, like you said earlier, we're human beings, and we do want to feel loved. You know? We want to be
We
loved.
have that
Yes.
need. We have that need.
we do. Sir?
Complete
You?
opposite. Okay, not complete. Let me not lie. But it was less intimate in our household. Especially between mom and dad. I saw them kiss once, maybe.
Okay.
Dad especially rarely said like I love you, like, you know, like
To you guys
straight.
or to, like-
No, to us guys.
Yes.
I wouldn't know with my, I don't know.
Yeah.
We never really saw them intimate. With us, in our later years, as we grew up, we got a bit closer, and you would get an "I love you" here and there. Usually in text, you would rarely say it out loud. It's usually in the
Shouldn't know
text.
how I
But yeah, so I kind of got the love I saw was slightly more, or rather less intimate, less. It's okay to just be. I love you.
You can feel it from here.
Yeah, you feel it. You know I do.
Yeah, you know I do.
You know I do. I got you something on your birthday, right?
Yeah, right? You remember?
So remember. So we're good,
That's
right?
the love.
Not that, but I still understood, and I knew 100% my dad loved me. I never felt like he didn't.
He didn't love you,
That's
yeah.
just the type of
Yeah.
environment I grew up in. And you could see for him, he would work his butt off just trying to provide, because for him that was his way of showing
showing
love.
love.
Make sure we have food on the table, gifts on our birthdays,
Clothes on your backs.
clothes on our backs. For him, that was his I love you, and I understood that as his I love you, and I took it. So
Oh, absolutely.
so for me, that's why I actually love giving gifts.
Oh, you're a gift giver.
I'm a gift
So
giver.
that's your.
I love giving
language.
gifts. Yeah, my showing of love thing. Yeah, and but not a good gift receiver for some reason. But anyways,
Oh, so you don't like to receive gifts?
I do, but I'm
You
weird
find
with
it
them.
awkward, like,
I'm
"Ah,
it's awkward.
You know what?
I don't know what to do."
I feel like I'm exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because I would even tell my partner on my birthday,
Yeah.
like I really don't need anything.
Yeah.
Like I just need you here. We could have a conversation. Tell me happy birthday. Tell me you love me.
Hell, I like the gifts. Bring me all the gifts.
Yeah, hey, we know how you guys are.
It's weird. It's weird. Like not that I don't want that PS5. I want that PS5.
Make up your mind. What gifts you want?
It's
But
nice.
anyways,
The gift is nice, but
it's not the thing. Like it's not the Anyways, but speaking of the love languages, I've always thought, and this is one man's opinion. Don't come for me in the comments. I've always thought, and I do see the validity and how true they are for a lot of different people, and all this and all that. I do feel that emotionally, that wasn't really considered for men. I look at the 5. There's some that may be applicable. You said you'd love her to be close to you on your
just be
birthday.
close to you,
Something
yeah.
that's quality time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but I look at all the 5 and I'm like, I can see 3, maybe 2 that will always pop up for men. And I feel like emotionally that book, and that, not that it's wrong or it's bad, I just feel like it was more emotionally considerate to women. I do think, I don't know what they are, but I do think there are love languages for men that we haven't really
Explore.
gotten to explore, because we keep trying to find ourselves in the 5.
Okay.
We're talking about being the provider. Which man is going to have acts of service at the top of his love languages? gifts will usually be at the, closer to the bottom. Like, it's less likely. But with a woman, she can find herself anywhere on those 5,
Yeah, that's true.
So I do think there's something we missed there for men, and I do think it might be our fault as men, it might be the world's problem. I do think we say physically or business-wise, the world was built for men, it's male-dominated. I think emotionally it's the opposite. I think emotionally there are more provisions for women than men.
That's true.
I'm not pointing a finger, I'm not saying it's wrong or it's this or that, but I do think that's the case, where there's a gap where like a man can't find himself, his emotion, like where he is on the emotional spectrum, because it's not out there, you don't see it. You don't see where you fit. It's like, so you're kind of trying to find yourself in an emotionally women-dominated world. And that's where there's that conflict of identity, like, is this really who I am emotionally? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do the book then.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
You should do it.
I might just.
We'll pick it up. We'll be like, hey.
I might just.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, I've always thought that. There's just something.
Something missing.
I think you have a very good point. You have a very good point. Honestly, I feel like men need to be a bit more in touch with, themselves, with their feelings.
No, we do.
We need to be a bit more in touch, and I feel like from there, stems, other, love languages or whatever the case may be. Like you said, you feel like the love languages that are currently more inclined to women, and I feel like men need to explore more by being in touch with with themselves.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the question, what examples of love did you see growing up? Because it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see that love, then where does that place
Where
you?
does it? Yeah.
What's funny is I feel like as my parents have grown older, I think they've become a little more vulnerable. Like now I'll get like an I love you text from my dad or my mom, and sometimes I would open up maybe to have I ever? Okay, yeah, maybe to my partner, like, oh, like look at what my dad said, and then I think because of like the Africans, like she would be equally shocked, like, what? Is your dad? For real? Yeah, and
it's a collector's item.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a collector's item. Like, it really is.
Highest bidder.
Absolutely.
African father said, I love you to his son.
Yeah, right? Wow. Even my mom, because obviously I think because of her upbringing, it wasn't common to hear her parents tell her.
Even in our household, but I saw it in my friend's household, like every time they drop them off at school, they'll give them kisses. I'm like, what is happening here?
Yeah, right?
Are you going for it? Are you never going back home?
Like, do you have to? What's all this? What's going on?
Strange to me, and this is a black mom.
Yeah.
So seeing that, you're like, oh, this is what happens. And this is normal.
Strange. Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like a relic. Like, wow.
My mom.
I want that.
I know. Yes.
So now
everyone wants that.
It's my son. It's just like, okay.
Get off me, mom.
It's only so recent that my mom is like very, she won't express it like that. She's very expressive, but then it's only now that she would also like openly say, oh, I love you, and sometimes it'll be like, love you. You know what I mean? And in one of like the family groups, it's so funny. I think I don't know who mentioned. I think it was my mom who had told her sisters. She's like, oh, I love you, and then like her sister is like, what? Like this is not how we're brought up. What do you mean? And she's like, oh, okay, love you. Okay, I might have you. You know what
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have you. You know what I mean? But I am.
Yeah,
What's
you're
going
on
on?
your deathbed. What's
you
going
sick?
on?
Exactly.
What's going on?
Oh,
Tell us the
God.
truth.
Yeah, but I feel like that's something that needs to be cultivated.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
True, true.
In men, in women as well. You know, but
It's okay.
Yeah, that it's okay to say I love you.
Yeah.
It's okay to express yourself that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting we're talking about seeing love and seeing that certain things are okay. I think one of the things, I mean, I think when it comes to the topic of men's or mental health in general, there's no silver bullet like this is the solution. I think just different things work for different people.
Yeah.
One of the things that worked for me is seeing another man either sharing his story or being vulnerable maybe in a public environment.
Okay.
I think that really helped me even get to here. I don't think I would have been able to speak about this
Really?
a year
But you had
a year
posted
ago.
on your Instagram that
I had.
and keep
I
telling
remember
you about
that.
I'm like, this
and
post-
I posted that, but I don't think I would have actually said that in public. I like from my mouth, like you're hearing me say those
Oh
words.
really?
And even what I had posted, I don't know if I followed it myself, like checking on different guys.
yeah.
It was there.
in the dark here.
I posted about men's health and how basically guys should look after each other. Like,
Gotcha,
Yeah.
bro.
don't have this surface level watch soccer, play
Yes,
FIFA,
and
that's
go
it.
home. Ask about
I love that idea.
Yeah.
ask about
How you're doing,
dude.
yeah.
What's really going
How
on?
you really doing?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But
So
most guys are, I'm fine.
yeah,
No, really,
that's where it gets tricky because not all of us who like
open up,
actually
yeah.
open up, but it makes a difference. You never know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the more I would see these posts or these videos and I see men sharing their stories or even just like I had a sort of like a round table discussion with two gents from my family, a cousin and a nephew. And maybe because we're sipping on a little something, but people started offloading their emotions.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm like, you go through that too? I even knew you struggle with that. I even knew you. All of a sudden I'm like, I'm not alone.
And isn't that
And it
such
I'm
feels-
not alone. And
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah,
so
it feels
good.
So
like,
good. It feels.
I'm not alone. Like, I mean, you realize a lot of this is just you don't want to feel like you're alone. A lot of when you go into that male depression is him just feeling, ish, I'm going through this. And
I'm the only
just
one.
the only one, and I
Yeah.
can't tell
it's just
anyone about
me.
it.
Why is this happening to me?
True,
Like,
very
why?
true. Yeah.
Why? And then you just spiral because you don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
You know, all you want to hear is, dude, I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Maybe what I say might help you. So I think
absolutely.
that's one of the ways that we could help other men. It's platforms like this where we share like, okay, I also go through this.
True.
So when you mentioned seeing love and seeing that it's okay, I think that's valid. Seeing that it's okay to hear or say an I love you to your
is.
dad.
It is.
Such a collector's item. I love you, son.
Right?
Oh wow.
You're like,
Hey, Andy says so much.
yeah.
I love you so much.
Hey,
I'm
so
like,
much.
hey, so much.
Wow.
Do you know I love you?
All the forwards.
All the forwards.
3-5. I love you so much.
I love you so much. Hey.
The whole bar.
That's something. That's something.
That's
What would you want the world to do more for men with mental health? What would you like, or just society basically to
I think
do different or to do more?
you mentioned how we raise our children.
Okay.
I think from a society level, it's because this stuff starts from how you are raised. You put a seed, and that seed will keep growing and growing and growing.
Yes.
If you can break that mold and put a different type of seed in your kid from an early on stage where they feel like it's okay to be this, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to talk about your problems, not to injure anyone though, but don't talk to strangers. Stranger danger is still real.
Yes.
But it's okay to offload and stuff like that and create that environment.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if that starts in the household, it will build to a neighborhood, it will build to a town, it will build to a country. I think it gets tricky on a wide scale when, I mean, it's good that we have all these suicide helplines and therapists they're everywhere now. But it's tough because a lot of men don't get that push within themselves to go to these things. I'm not just walking into a therapist's office like, help me. I don't know about you.
No, I concur. It's tough to just get yourself to, you know, that into that space where you can just like walk into a therapist's, you know, office and offload. I don't know, long shot. It's a bit of a long shot, honestly, because, you know, not that going to therapy is a bad thing.
No, it's great.
You know, I think it's helpful. You know, I think it's very helpful.
Great.
But I feel like because I have sort of identified, you know, my outlets. You know, I have identified where I can, you know, go to and offload. I have identified who I can speak to, you know, and offload. You know, I could go and, you know, play basketball with the boys and, you know, play soccer and, you know, I'll feel a lot better, you know, in terms of, you know, opening up, you know, about an issue or problem. I earlier mentioned my brother, you know, I would go to him. I think Musenge mentioned earlier before we had started that, you know, you sort of identify who you could, you know, run to. You know, so therapy in itself is, I think it's very good.
Great,
but I think I have a therapist in my brother. I have a therapist in sports. You know, and I think it's maybe something that's not mentioned all the time, but I'd like to believe I'm very spiritually inclined. You know, I feel like it's also important to be in touch, you know, with with our maker. You know, I mean, he made you. You know, he should understand you.
He knows you.
He knows you. You know what I mean? And I think earlier late last year, I went through the worst of phases. I went through the worst of phases, and I remember I never really opened up to anyone.
So you dealt with that by yourself?
I dealt with it by. I don't want to take the credit. I don't want to take the credit. I want God to take the credit, honestly. Because I can remember for, I think, a whole 3 months, it was just me and him. My mom would come and ask, like, you've lost weight. What's going on? It's like, I'm just, you know, I don't know. So I'm trying this new tea. I tried this new tea. It's doing wonders.
On a keto diet.
I'm on a keto diet. You know what I mean? And I never really opened up to anyone. And it was so bad because I think for the first time, I don't know. I think that was depression. I don't know. Maybe I was depressed. You know, I think I was depressed. But then, you know, it was just me and my Bible, and you know, with time, you know, I came out of it, and I feel like that's also something that, you know, people should, you know, acquaint themselves with, or like open themselves up to. It could be whatever your religion, you know, whatever your religion. I think spending time with, you know, the higher power, you know, just being in that sort of space, you know, where you're just, you know, quiet and sort of seeking answers somewhere. You know how the way God answers, you know, is through others. You know, you could be praying, asking for a solution, and before you know it, somebody's calling you. Hey man, you know, something. You know, you can come and you know, hear something. You know, and that's. I feel like that's how it works. You know, and I feel like that's one thing that's one of the ways I feel like you know, society should help curb, you know, men's mental health. Also, I think, like I mentioned, society should, I think, start to view it not as a men's problem, but as it's something that, you know, everyone should get involved in and, you know, try and help curb.
Takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. You know, the way we've been built men we're not built to open up.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like, you know, when society comes together and says, you know what, it's okay for you to open up, it's okay for you to be vulnerable, it's okay for you to share, you know, and I feel like we'll have less, you know, we'll have less suicides, we'll have less, you know, less men's mental health.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Well, and on that note, ladies and gents, boys and girls, we have come to the end of the episode. It's been interesting.
Quite
Very.
Interesting. It's-
already.
I know. It's been
Ready to do
interesting.
another 2 hours, right?
Right?
There's some parts that had me like, what? Cha! But I love how open you guys were, how honest you were. We need more of that.
Absolutely.
How you're not holding back, you just
Let it out.
let it out. Just call it as it is.
Absolutely.
Love it.
It's better that way.
I was supposed to play a little game with you, but we run out of time.
Oh, really?
And producer said, Jerome, Jerome, are you going to allow us a minute? No.
Yes, maybe.
No.
Next time we'll come
they
back
said- no,
specifically for the game next
They will
time.
be
Yeah,
back
next time it will just be the game.
Just for the game.
Just for the game.
Just for the game. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the Call Her Sam podcast, every Thursday at 14:30. I'll see you next time.